You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans, it's time for our weekly prediction edition, and we're going to talk about Carter firing Ridge and Steffy and the big new CEO shocker at Forrester Creations. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got predictions for Luna and Bill, for Ridge, Steffy, and Hope, for Deacon, Sheila, and Remy, for Hope and Steffy, and for Carter, Ridge, and Steffy. And if you're not following us, please click subscribe, and remember, these are predictions based on official spoilers, but are not a guarantee of what is coming. Let's dive into the possibilities on B&B, starting with our first prediction. Carter fires Ridge and Steffy and names himself CEO. So last we saw Carter and Ridge, they were bickering, and Ridge told Carter if he wants to be forgiven, wants to save his job at Forrester Creations, he has got to cut Hope loose. Ridge is enraged that Carter betrayed them after all this time, and he's blaming it on him being weak for Hope. And spoilers next week for Monday, December 2nd, have Carter and Ridge carrying on with that argument from Wednesday's episode, and Carter's definitely going to tell Ridge to kick rocks. He loves Hope and will do anything for her. And after Ridge and Steffy take a swipe at Hope on, I think it's Wednesday, then, you know, it's going to get so much worse. Carter's going to be completely done. Meanwhile, Hope tells Brooke in this week's promo that Carter filed the papers. So that's a confirmed spoiler. So by Friday, December 6th, another spoiler says Carter sets off a firestorm, and it's the point of no return at Forrester Creations. So I suspect he fires Ridge and Steffy and appoints himself CEO, and maybe even appoints Hope as his co-CEO as a slap in Ridge and Steffy's faces. All right, our second prediction, Hope Logan bans Steffy from Forrester Creations and maybe Finn too. If you remember, after Steffy fired Hope from Forrester for landing on top of Finn in lingerie, she told Charlie to escort Hope out of the building, but then Steffy and Ridge decided to do it themselves and walked her all the way to the elevator. It was totally humiliating, and she walked outside crying, and of course Carter was there waiting. So sounds like time for payback. Spoilers for Monday the 2nd have Brooke and Hope continuing, their bickering from Wednesday and her finding out that her mom tattled. But one thing that both Logan ladies can agree on is they both blame Steffy for all of this. Plus, on Wednesday the 4th, spoilers say Ridge and Steffy lash out at Hope. And then spoilers for Thursday, December 5th, have Steffy raging at Hope, who turns around and gives it right back to Steffy. And then Friday the 6th is when spoilers say Carter does something to infuriate the Forresters. I suspect Carter unfires Hope and reinstates Hope for the future and puts Hope in a position of power. And I bet she uses that newfound power to not only make sure that Steffy's fired, but also banned from the premises, just like Steffy did to her. And that should come after either she or Carter get to fire Steffy. And Hope might ban Finn too, just because she blames him for part of all of this. Our third prediction is that Deacon and Sheila adopt Remy as their own. Not a legal adoption, but how you make your own family. We saw skeevy Remy Price convince Deacon Sharp to give him a job at Il Giardino last week, and Remy even talked Deacon into letting him move into one of those little apartments above the restaurant. That's going to make him next door neighbors with Deacon and Sheila Carter, and that's pretty interesting. Spoilers for Wednesday the 4th say Deacon livens things up at Il Giardino with a surprising addition, and that may be about him hiring Remy or something more. And then there's a spoiler photo for the week of December 2nd through 6th that shows Sheila and Remy hanging out at work. Now, given that Finn is not allowed to talk to his mama Sheila and all of her other kids are elsewhere, I could totally see her taking Remy under her wicked wing since he's new to LA. And Deacon's daughter is busy making trouble over at Forrester, so maybe he'd be happy to have this quasi-parental relationship where he and Sheila essentially, adopt Remy. And of course, when it comes out what a monster that he is, it might look bad for Deacon and Sheila, even though they're just being nice. So spoilers for Thursday the 5th say we find out more about Electra and Remy's tangled past, and there's nothing good to see there. Our fourth prediction is that Ridge and Steffy blackball Hope with a shocking press release. So for the past few weeks, since Steffy fired Hope and ended Hope for the Future, Ridge has been trying to kind of stay with his head down, and he's been avoiding Brooke's demand to overrule Steffy firing Hope, but now everything has clearly changed. Ridge is certain that Hope is to blame for Carter's betrayal and the coup, and if you remember, Steffy had a press release drawn up saying that Forrester had cut ties with Hope and her line, and she had wanted to send it out right away. Katie wasn't happy about it, but Ridge actually intervened and tapped the brakes on the press release, but he may change his mind based on spoilers for Wednesday the 4th, which say that Ridge and Steffy do something decisive that harms Hope's future, I'm assuming her career. Based on this spoiler, I suspect Ridge and Steffy go ahead and they do issue a press release, but not the one that was already written. Something about Hope's firing that is scathing, something that reflects how they really feel about it, something that lets the fashion industry know that Hope is untrustworthy and that they were forced to fire her, not the vague kind of polite statement from before that sounded like it could have been a mutual parting of ways, but something a little more, catastrophic for her career. And our fifth and final prediction is that Luna is gaslighting Bill. So we are finally getting back to the twisted Bill Spencer and Luna Nozawa storyline this week. And so far, we've seen that Bill got 2 letters from Luna, both of them, talking about her bad childhood and how much Bill means to her. And he's the missing piece in her life and just all sorts of nonsense. And Dollar Bill burned the first letter, but stopped and didn't burn the second one, although he crumpled it up. He might have actually kept Luna's second letter. And spoilers for Friday, December 6th say that the next letter that Bill gets from Luna changes things between them, but it's not clear if it's better or worse. What we do know is that it is enough to trigger Bill to come to the jail and visit Luna, of course, that he thought was his daughter. There's a scene in the promo. So I just suspect that she's gaslighting Bill, and we're going to see Luna trying to use him to get out of jail without paying for her crimes. She's trying to make herself look like a poor, pitiful girl who had this tragic childhood. And sure, her mom, Poppy, was kind of a hippie, that, but she wasn't abusive. Luna never went hungry or anything like that, but she is playing Bill's heartstrings, like a violin. And it looks like she gets her claws into him really good next week, but we will just have to wait and see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.